Hello everybody, this is Cameron Snow with Danomics.com. In this video, I'm going to be going over something a little bit different in Danomics than what we normally talk about. So often when we're in our production analysis module, what we're really concerned with are calculating our forecast for oil and gas and getting the decline curve analysis on that done, generating those type curves. In this video, I'm going to pay attention to the water. So I was recently talking to someone, and the challenge they were facing was they wanted to understand what their water production will look like out into the future, so they could, make some calls on what they need to do in terms of water disposal, how much water volume they need to be able to handle going out into the future, and even maybe look at using some of that produced water back in their completions after it's been cleaned up. So they wanted to understand that. So I want to show you how we can do that type of analysis in Danomics pretty quickly. So what I have done to this point is I've just created a new project, a new decline curve analysis, and I've pulled in my databases. So in this case, I have my well header and my production database. Got about 7,000 wells in here. We're looking at an area in the Powder River Basin, and I'm showing my cumulative production bubbles for oil and gas. Now, for this type of analysis, once we've pulled in the data, everything's automatically been declined out, and that includes oil, gas, and water here. So we've got those forecasts already generated. But what we want to do is we want to create a display, a summary of our results here. So first thing we want to do is we don't care about things like permits or wells that were plugged and abandoned because those aren't really doing anything for us here. So we're going to put in a filter just to only show us wells that have had at least 1,000 barrels of cumulative production. We could filter by gas oil ratio, but that doesn't really matter for this type of analysis where we're only concerned about the water. And the same applies to lateral length. Although when we're analyzing our production or type curves, we may care a lot about lateral length. In this scenario, it doesn't matter to us whether it's a vertical producer or horizontal. We just want to know the amount of water that's coming out of the well. Um, we're not going to filter by spud day either. But let's say we do want to filter by operator here. So we're going to choose Devon as our operator. And we see they've got about 370 wells out here in this part of the Powder River Basin. So now we've got that. We'll want to set up our constraints on our decline curve analysis. What we'll want to do is we'll want to put some minimum initial decline and a maximum initial decline there. And we probably want to cap our B factors for our declines. And now that we've done that, it's updated all of our forecasts for these wells. And now the last thing I want to do is I want to put a terminal decline on here. So we're going to put, let's say, an 8% terminal. And once we've done that, we've once again updated all our declines and the EURs for all of our wells, and that includes for oil, gas, and water. All right, and we've already set our economics up here. So much like we've done in some of our previous videos, we're using economics to determine when these wells will actually go offline and cease production. Okay, so now that we've done that, all we have to do next is come over to our fluid summary, and we will hit the update button on this. And this will take just about 20-30 seconds to run. It'll do that summary of the 370 wells in this data set, and then we can take a look at the results. All right, and now we can see that our analysis has updated here. And the first wells drilled out here by Devon were around about 2011, and we have this forecast out into the future here. And we can see as we move into our forecast what our uh, oil and water volumes are for this analysis. So, we can see that in terms of water, we've produced about 52 million barrels, and there's about 23, 24 million barrels of water remaining. On the oil side, produced about 70 million barrels, and there's about 40 million barrels remaining. So that is all it takes to calculate that. Now, in terms of getting the answer out of the software, perhaps we want to see this on a well by well basis. Really be able to go in and dive into that breakdown of the water production. Well, how do we do that? Well, no problem. We just set up a flow for this. So what we'll do is we'll just say File, New Flow, and we'll call this Water Forecast Export. And flows are a handy little set of tools that we have for generating all sorts of outputs. So we're going to start off by bringing in our production data, and we're just going to grab that data set that we're using. Then we're going to bring in our interpretation of these wells. So this will be our water calcs and the associated well headers in case we want to map up the results. And we're going to export per well fluid month. That is what gives us our actual produced and remaining production volumes. And we can choose what fluids we want to do that for: oil, gas, water. In this case, we're just going to look at oil and water for this analysis. We'll say those are the two that are important to us. And then we'll just output the results, points output, add, and we'll just give that water forecast export a name. And once again, we'll hit the run button. And what this will do is this will generate an internal summary within the software that can then be exported as um, exported as an Excel file or a CSV. So that way you can take that and use it in the next step of your analysis if you're doing that outside of Danomics. Okay, and we can see that this job is running now. Once again, this generally takes about 20 to 30 seconds for the 300 wells that we have in there. You'll see that that's finished now. And if we open up the points, what this will give us is a well by well monthly breakdown for each fluid, where we can see the actual produced and remaining volumes for, in this case, oil and water. And if we want to get that out of the software, all we have to do is download it, and then it will be ready to work with. All right, well, I hope this video was useful to you. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about how you can do this, just reach out to us at sales@danomics.com. Thank you.